Namaste, dear students. In the previous classes, we have discussed about OOP characteristics. In that, we have studied objects, classes, data abstraction, data encapsulation, polymorphism or overloading. I said both the points together, and inheritance we have studied. Today, we will move on to next characteristics, that is dynamic binding. Dynamic binding. What is binding? First we will say what is binding. Binding means connecting one program to another program. Connecting one program to another program is known as dynamic binding. Is known as binding. We will see what is dynamic binding. Binding means what? Connecting one program to another program, that is known as binding. ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡೈನಮಿಕ್ ಬೈಂಡಿಂಗ್? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಒನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಟು ಅನದರ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್. During execution, connecting one program to another program during execution. Okay. Now I will see exact definition of dynamic binding. That is, dynamic binding means code associated with the procedure call is known only at the time of execution of procedure. Code associated with the procedure call is known only at the time of execution of procedure. When we use functions in your program, procedure or functions, okay, when we use functions in our program, we have to call a function, isn't it? ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಲ್ಲಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಯೂಸರ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೇ ಎಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ನಾವು ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅಥವಾ ಈಗ ನೀವು ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ, ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, isn't it? That is the code associated with the procedure call. Procedure call ನ ಜೊತೆಲಿರುವ ಕೋಡ್ ಯಾವುದು? ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ನ ಕೋಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಂಪೈಲರ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಬಾಡಿ, ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಎಟ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಕಾಲ್. ಓಕೆ, that is known as dynamic binding. That is, code associated with the procedure call is known only at the time of procedure execution. Okay, that is known as dynamic binding. ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳೋದಾದರೆ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮನ್ನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದು ಬೈಂಡಿಂಗ್. ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮನ್ನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಗೆ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅದು ಡೈನಮಿಕ್ ಬೈಂಡಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, exact definition is this one. This is the standard definition, that is code associated with the procedure call is known only at the time of procedure execution. And we'll move on to last characteristics, that is message passing. Message passing. Message passing. This is the last characteristics. In C++, how you are going to call a how you are going to call a member function? By using an object, right? I will write object n1 dot class name I will write, sorry, function name I will write get. This is how I am going to call a function. That is object name dot function name. Object name is n1 dot function name is get, isn't it? Here this is known as a message passing. That is message for object. Message passing means message for a object to request for a execution of a function, okay, to request for a execution of a procedure or execution of a function. Is it clear? What is message passing? Message passing means it is a message for an object, for the execution of for the request for execution of the member function or execution of a procedure. Okay, what is the message passing? It is actually a message given for an object. It is a message given for an object to request for the execution of a procedure. ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಪಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಂತ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮೆಸೇಜನ್ನು ಕಳಿಸೋದು. ಯಾಕೆ? ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್. ಅದು ಯಾಕೆ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್? ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕಳಿಸುವಂಥ ಮೆಸೇಜ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ n1.get. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಪಾಸಿಂಗ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ OOP. Advantages of OOP. This is actually a 5 marks question. First one also, characteristics of OOP, that is also 5 marks question. Advantages of OOP, it's also a 5 marks question. Okay, first we'll see programs are modularized. First advantage, programs are modularized based on classes and object. Based on classes or objects. Classes and objects. Second one, code reusability, comma, reduces code duplication, and code reusability. Data security, I will write shortly, short ಆಗಿ ಬರಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. Complex software development, I will write 5 points. Reduces software development time. These are about advantages. First one, programs are modularized based on classes and object. Okay, what is modularization? That is dividing a complex program into number of small programs, sub-programs, or I can say modules. Okay, that is known as modularization. This process is known as modularization. And here we divide a complex program into number of smaller units. That smaller units are known as modules, and the technique what you use is known as modularization. Techniques what you use known as modularization. Okay, here how you modularize, how you divide a complex task into subtask, that is by using classes and object. Okay, here we use classes and object concept to simplify a solution to a particular complex problem. Second one, code reusability. How to reuse the code? See, suppose if I use inheritance concept, what I can do? I can derive a new class from existing class. Then new class, that is a subclass, can use the features of a superclass, or derived class can access the data member or member functions of a ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು? ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಡೇಟಾ ಮೆಂಬರನ್ನು ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನನ್ನು ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಪುನಃ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡೇಟಾವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಅದು ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಕೋಡನ್ನು ರೀಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಕೋಡನ್ನು ನಾವು ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ರೀಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ? code duplication is reduced ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಪುನಃ ಬರ್ದ ಕೋಡನ್ನೇ ಬರೆಯುವ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕೋಡನ್ನು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಕೋಡ್ ರೀಯೂಸಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಕೋಡ್ ಡ್ಯೂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದ ಕೋಡನ್ನೇ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆಯುವ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಯಾಕೆ? ನಾವು ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ ಕೋಡನ್ನು ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ರೀಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಕೋಡ್ ಡ್ಯೂಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಒಂದು ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಕೋಡ್ ರೀಯೂಸೆಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, suppose if I create any number of objects for a class, all the objects can use the same data member and same member function, isn't it? If I create a class and if for the class I'll create an object, isn't it? I create a class and create an object, and for a class I can create any number of objects. ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸಹ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆಲ್ ದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾ ಮೆಂಬರನ್ನು ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನನ್ನು ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಒಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆಯೇ ಡೇಟಾ ಮೆಂಬರ್, ಎರಡನೇ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆಯೇ ಡೇಟಾ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ನೀವು 10 ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ 100 ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಮೆಂಬರನ್ನು ಸೇಮ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನನ್ನು ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಒನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಕೋಡ್ reduces code duplication and the code reusability. All the objects can use the same codes. Next one, data security. Data security. How you can say data security? You have studied the characteristics, data encapsulation. What we have studied in data encapsulation? The data are wrapped together with the function. Data and functions are binded together, isn't it? So to access the data we have to access it through the member function alva. Data member function ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ bind ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. If I consider a private data members are accessed only by member functions of the same class. So data is binded with those member functions. So data cannot be accessed by outside member function if it is private. Is it clear? If the data is considered as a private, it cannot be accessed by outside function. Only the member function can access it. So what you can say? Data is secured. Okay. So we can say data security is given through encapsulation concept. Next one, complex software development. Here inheritance. Using inheritance you can develop complex softwares. Using inheritance you can develop complex softwares. That is, actually if you use inheritance, there is a, you can reduce the code duplication and you can reuse the code, so you can be able to develop complex softwares easily. Last one, reduce the software development time. Say you have studied OOP characteristics and first year you had done many C++ programs, so you can say C++ is easy, isn't it? C++ is easy, so you can develop software, you can implement the codes very easily. So when you easily develop any particular software, then you can say the software development time is reduced. ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಈಸಿ ಇದೆ, ನಾವು ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು? ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಸ್ reduced. Okay, reduces software development time. That is OOP software, OOP program is easy, we can implement it very easily. So you can say it reduces software development time. These are the 5 advantages you have to study. First one, it is modularized, programs are modularized based on classes and objects. Second one, it reduces code duplication and supports reusability. Next, encapsulation allows us to secure the data, gives the data security. Using inheritance we can develop complex softwares. OOP implementation is easy, so reduces software development time. Next we will move on to limitations. Advantages is over, now we will be moving on to limitation. You may get a question in the final exam like, what is OOP? Give the limitations of OOP. There are 4 limitations. It may appear for 5 marks. What is OOP? Give the limitations of OOP software. Okay. So OOP, here first one, OOP not having set standards, not having set standards. Set of standards anta baribedi, set standards e baribeku. Don't write set of standards. Usually students make a same mistake, set of standards. Don't write like that. You have to write set standards. OOP not having set standards. Listen. Suppose if you consider a class, in a classroom there will be some rules, isn't it? In a classroom there will be some rule that you have to sit like this in a class and you have to listen a class in this particular manner. But most of the students follows the rule and they will be quiet in the class, then it's fine. Suppose if any one of the student does not follow the rule and he starts making noise inside the class, then what you can say? He break a rule, right? Isn't it? The rule helidre I can consider it as a protocol, rule or protocol. Okay, actually he violated a protocol. When he violate a protocol, I can ask him to go out of a class, isn't it? So similarly, set standard andre enta anta helidre, set standard helidre it is a set protocols, set rules. Each and every software has its own set standards, okay, its own rules. Each and every software must obey the particular protocol. Whatever the software we develop, it must obey particular rules or protocols, okay. If there is any violation, then we can say it is not having set standards. ಯಾವುದಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ರೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ವೈಲೇಷನ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ, ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ರೂಲನ್ನು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಗ ಎಂತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಅದು ರೂಲನ್ನು ವೈಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಪ್ರೋಟೋಕಾಲನ್ನು ವೈಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ದೆನ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಇಟ್ ಡಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕಂತ ರೂಲ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಆದರೆ ನೀವು ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಆಗ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ರೂಲನ್ನು ವೈಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? Next one, second one, difficult to adapt. Difficult to adapt. Flow diagrams. Difficult to adapt flow diagrams. Difficult to adapt flow diagrams. Andre ಈಗ assume that you have used flow diagrams such as ER diagram. You know in basic flow charts, isn't it? Similarly, there are different types of diagrams. Data flow diagram is there, ER diagram is there, by using which we can design softwares. Okay. Suppose if for the OOP, if we have used any of the flow diagrams, later if I want to make the changes, adapt means a change. If I want to make changes to the flow diagram, then it will be difficult. Okay. If I want to adapt flow diagrams, if I want to alter flow diagrams, it will be difficult in case of OOP. Next one, difficult to convert real world problem into OOP. Real world problem means any of the problem what we, for example, we want to find out factorial. That is one of the computer related problem. Similarly, if I want to find the result of a student, if I want to analyze the result, all those are real world problems. But most of the real world problems can be solved by using OOP, but few of the real world problems are difficult to convert it into OOP. Most of it is difficult to convert real world problems into OOP. Few of the real world problems are difficult to convert into OOP concept. Last one, classes are overly generalized. Classes are overly generalized. Classes are overly generalized. Generalized means sharing the properties of two or more classes. Inheritance concept, deriving a new class from existing class. Generalization means it is a process of sharing the content or properties, attributes of two or more classes. But here the classes are overly generalized. There is no restriction to share a property from different classes. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ ಆಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟನ್ನು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. 2 ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, 4 ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಟು ಶೇರ್ ದ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ 2 or more classes. So you can say the classes are overly generalized. These are the limitations of OOP. That is, first one is it is not having set standards. Okay, maybe this particular OOP concept has violated some of the standard rules, so it is not having set standards. Second one, difficult to adapt, change flow diagrams. Once if you use flow diagrams to design a OOP software, later it is difficult to change it. Next one, difficult to convert real world problems. Some of the real world problems are very difficult to convert it into OOP concept. Next, classes are overly generalized. That is, here there is no restriction to share properties of 2 or more classes. Next, we will move on to applications of OOP. Applications of OOP. Applications of OOP. Here also study at least 5 applications. First one, computer graphics application. Computer graphics application such as animated games, etc. Computer graphics applications, games and all you can consider here. CAD/CAM, already you have studied CAD/CAM. That is computer aided design and computer aided manufacturing. CAD is a software which is used to design products. CAM, computer aided manufacturing, it is a software which helps to manufacture the product. Next, object oriented databases. Object oriented databases. Database means what? It is actually used to store the data permanently and we can access it in our future. Okay, we can use it to. Database is a collection of related data items. Database is a collection of related data items which are stored permanently and we can use it in our future. Okay, data is a collection of related data. Okay, next, that is, databases are implemented by using object oriented concept, then it is known as a object oriented databases. Next, user interface design. User interface design such as Windows. Such as Windows. You can design a user interfaces for particular operating system by using C++ or any other object oriented programming concepts. Next one, simulation and modeling. Simulation and modeling. Simulation and modeling which is used to represent something existing. Okay, simulation and modeling which is used to represent a model of something which is existing. ರಿಯಲ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂಥ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಐಟಮನ್ನು ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಮ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮಾಡೆಲಿಂಗನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ರಿಯಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್. Real time systems. Example, air traffic control. Real time systems, air traffic control systems. Last one, expert system and artificial intelligence. I will write artificial intelligence and expert system. Artificial intelligence and expert system. Artificial intelligence means it is actually a concept which is used to design. Artificial intelligence helps us to design a object which is artificial to the real one. Okay. For example, robots are artificial, which does a task similar to the human being. Okay. ಅದು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ನಾಗೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ರೋಬೋಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಥರ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಶೋಸ್ ದ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಟು ದ ರಿಯಲ್ ಒನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ಅ product, design an object which behaves artificially, which behaves similar to the existing object. Okay, you can consider a robot behaves similar to the human being. Next is a expert system. Expert system is also one of the example for a artificial intelligence system which actually does a thing which is done by experts. Actually does complex calculations, etc., isn't it? Complex calculations, complex problems can be solved by experts. Such experts task can be done by expert system. Okay, experts having much knowledge about a particular concept, and they will try to solve very complex problems, and they will analyze their own knowledge, etc. So those experts work can be done by a computer system that is known as a expert system. These are all the applications of OOP concepts, that is computer graphic applications. You can consider games, CAD or CAM software. CAD is used to design a product, CAM is used to manufacture a product. Next, object oriented database. It is a database which is designed by using object oriented concept. User interface design such as Windows. Next, simulation and modeling, which is used to represent a model of a particular object. Okay, and example you can consider here street traffic system model. Street traffic system model, real time systems, that is a air traffic controller system. Next, artificial intelligence robots. Expert system is a system which does a task which is done by experts. Experts are the persons who has much knowledge about particular concept, and they try to solve much complex problems, and that task is done by expert systems. Next, finally we will move on to difference between POP and OOP. In first year in problem solving methodology you have studied procedure oriented programming and object oriented programming also. We will see what are the differences between POP and OOP. POP follows top down approach. OOP follows approach. Whether here there is access specifier, no access specifier. Okay, is here access specifier? Yes, here there are access specifiers. Whether overloading is supported? No, here overloading is not supported. Here supported, supports overloading. Here how the modules will communicate, that is through the function call. If I have main program and function, here through the function call they will communicate. How here? Here through message passing. Through the object I am calling a function, that is message passing. Next, here whether data hiding is supported here? No, data hiding is not supported. Okay, here it supports data hiding. In OOP supports data hiding. Here what are the example you can give here? C, Pascal, etc. And here I will give example C++, Java, etc. We will see the difference. POP means procedure oriented programming and OOP means object oriented programming. Procedural oriented programming, object oriented programming. First one is top down approach, that is dividing the complex problem into smaller units and solving each unit subsequently, that is known as top down approach. Bottom up approach means first we are designing a smaller subunit and we combine the smaller unit solution will be combined and finally we get a solution for our entire system. This is reverse. First smaller units are designed, later that is combined to form a larger unit. Next, no access specifier in case of POP, that is in C language we are not using public, private, protected, but in case of OOP we use access specifiers public, private, protected. No overloading. Here function overloading is not supported, operator overloading is also not supported in procedural oriented programming, but in case of OOP it supports overloading. We can overload a function, overload a operators. Next, function call. If we create a user defined function in POP, we have to call that user defined function through the function call. How we have done in first years. C++ ಆದರೂ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಾಲೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು, ಅಂಥ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಾಲನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಟೂ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಮೇನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯೂಸರ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ಡ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಟ್ with each other by using function call. But in case of OOP, we can communicate in OOP, main function can communicate with the other function through the message passing. That is, you have to create an object, through the object you have to call a member function. And next is a data hiding is not supported, because in case of POP there is no encapsulation concept. So data is not binded with the function. So you can say no data hiding. Data hiding is supported in OOP, that is data and functions are combined together. So private data members cannot be accessed by other functions, outside functions. Private data members are accessed only by the member functions of the same class. So data is hidden from the outside function. Data is hidden from the outside function. So you can say supports data hiding. What about POP? That is C and Pascal. Example is C and Pascal for POP. For OOP, example is C++ and Java. This is all about OOP concepts chapter. From this particular chapter, 2 marks from OOP concepts, there is a 2 marks 1 question appears and 5 marks 1 question appears. So total 7 marks questions appears for the final exam. It is a small chapter, but you get total 7 marks question from this particular chapter. Thank you.